Hello, everyone, and welcome to the big show. This is Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Trading Academy. If you're a first time listener, thank you for stopping by. As always, I am your host, Josh Lilquist, and we got an action packed show for you today. Today, we're going to do a few things. We're going to talk about how these financial markets work, how to make smart decisions, especially coming into the new year. We're going to get into some different income strategies, retirement strategies. We'll probably do that in the next couple segments, and how to help people make smarter investing decisions with all those different types of accounts, regular trading accounts, that would be called retail accounts, and also those retirement accounts. And our sponsor, Trading Academy, on their 28th year, teaching people just like you how to trade and invest, how to get started if you're brand new, or how to have more consistency if you've been doing it for many years. As you can see, we have a lot of people that come here to the academy right here in Bloomington that want to do more. They want to do better with not always just their finances. It's sometimes just not monetary. They want more freedom of time, freedom of location. But the big thing that I think I've been seeing, especially lately, is how to be more secure going into retirement. And we're going to discuss that as we progress in the show here today on Investing and Trading Live. Make sure to follow the podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. If you're listening, just go to Investing and Trading Live. Also, we appreciate the followers on the YouTube. Just go to Josh Lilquist on YouTube, and you can check out the archives there as well. So as we get into the show here today, we're going to do a quick stock market update. As we know, markets at or near all-time highs. I believe it was on Wednesday. The NASDAQ hit all-time highs, closed above 21,000. It's been there for a while, but closed right around the 21,784 mark, an all-time high for the NASDAQ. So great job for the NASDAQ. Those tech stocks are looking phenomenal. Actually, on Wednesday, it did gap up, and a big move on Wednesday. It was about, we'll call it a 1.6%, 1.7 almost percent rate of return on Wednesday. We know what happened the rest of the week with the NASDAQ. S&P 500 staying above that $6,000 mark, starting to slow down ever so slightly over the past 4 or 5 days, 6 trading days anyway, and but still has that head of steam going to the upside. It looks just parabolic, which could be concerning for some people as well. You have the Dow Jones Industrial Average, kind of a different story. We had all-time highs of the over $45,000 mark right around the end, well, we'll call it the 4th of December. So interesting with the Dow over the past several sessions, it's been slowly going to the downside. So the Dow is doing just a little bit different. Same with the Russell. This one here hasn't hit all-time highs for really, quite some time. It's been several days, but on a slight downtrend with the Russell, which is your small cap stocks. All right, so going into gold and silver, looking at gold, this one here we had a parabolic move in 2024. It was down right around $2,000 per ounce, and then getting up to about 27, almost $2,800 per ounce. Currently right around the 2680, depending on when you're listening to the show, but kind of a choppy market with the gold market. Silver right around $30, $31 or so with the silver price, and that looks very similar to gold. We did hit a pretty decent high around $34.77 back in October, but back down to right around $31, depending on when you listen to the show there. And as the title of the show here today, it was the bank stocks are surging, Bitcoin kind of consolidating, and just a great overall opportunity with these markets. The dollar reaching nearing 110. So looking at let's start with let's go with since we're here to look at the dollar. Dollar is nearing 110. It's at 106.80 or so, depending on when you listen to the show. So we've been in an uptrend since it hit lows in September of 2024. So typically the dollar will be inversely correlated with the stock market. Well, lately it looks like we've been correlating. So you don't want to just go and trade correlations or inverse correlations just because. You still got to use supply and demand, and we'll talk a lot about how to utilize supply and demand in the financial markets in the upcoming segments here, so make sure to stay tuned for that. You have Bitcoin Since that's been in the news again, I've been getting a lot of calls on Bitcoin. Hey, how do I get started with Bitcoin? What do I do? And it reached the high, the first high it was back in on the 5th of December, 104,000 even, kind of an interesting number. And it's been kind of slowing down a little bit. Had a big day that day anyway, and it's been kind of hovering between the 105 or 104 and 94. So it's a $10,000 range with Bitcoins. But been getting a lot of questions about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a whole. How do I get started? And how do I do that? Well, the problem is by the time the public gets into some of these markets, the moves have already happened. So are you late to the party? Yeah, personally, I don't think so. But you might have missed out on the majority of the move. So that's why we talk a lot about supply and demand here at the Academy. Supply and demand is what moves the markets, just like anything in our everyday life. If you have a whole bunch of demand for something, a home, a car, a pair of shoes, a bottle of water, if there's a whole bunch of demand for all that, price has to go up. It's going to. It's an economic law. If you have a whole bunch of supply, many people selling. You think about the housing market. When you have a whole bunch of sellers in the market, price is typically going to just drop because there's not enough demand out there to buy. So they're going to find a cheaper price. So that's the same thing with the financial markets. As prices go up, that's more demand. As prices go down, that's more supply. And that's what we identify, is where those banks and institutions are creating those supply and demand areas, how to get in those positions and how to do that safely. So that way you're making smart decisions within those income accounts and those retirement accounts. And we're going to continue this discussion as we get into the next segment here. When we talk about income, we're going to talk a lot about retirement accounts. And we have a lot of people that have been wanting to make those smart decisions, but they want to get started today, especially before the new year gets going and as the new year starts, because as we know, those New Year's resolutions are going to pop up. If finance is one of those, come into one of these trading and investing classes that we do right here at the Academy. These classes are about 2 hours long, and we introduce you to these techniques and concepts that we're going to continue to discuss here on the show on how to make those smart investing decisions. We have these in the metro right here in Bloomington. We're also in our other locations, Edina, Maple Grove, Woodbury, Wayzata. We're all across the metro. We're coming to a neighborhood near you. That way you can get started and kick off the new year with a good step. Text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats for a trading and investing class. Text investing to the number 210. You can also go to tradingacademy.com and pick your own seats there. When you do that text message, though, you're going to get a text right back with a link to our landing page. All you got to do is click that link and pick your own date and time there. We have a lot more to discuss. I'm going to bring Al Connickson back on the show. We're going to talk about those income strategies. So people that are looking for extra income strategies by using the market, it just might be an opportunity. This is trading. This is investing and trading live. This is Josh with Investing and Trading Live. We will be right back. That was a tongue twister.